Hi everyone, it's Scott. I was asked to talk a little bit about E. E. Cummings, and I thought I could go over In Just with you. And then if you'd like to go over Buffalo Bills, we can do that as well. But some of what I'm going to talk with you in terms of the E. E. Cummings styles, you can apply to Buffalo Bills. So first I'm just going to read it, and then we can talk about it. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring when the world is puddle wonderful. The queer old balloonman whistles far and wee, and Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. Okay. So I think the first thing that you probably notice is that Cummings is very experimental and playful when it comes to the spacing. Some words are stretched out, whistles far and wee. Some words are shoved together, like when it says Betty and Isabel, right? Just shoving those words together. Eddie and Bill. And then there are also these compound words where they're taking two different words, where not they, E. Cummings is taking two different words and joining them with a hyphen. Puddle wonderful, mud luscious. So I want us to think about his use of spacing and what he's trying to accomplish with it. So we'll walk through some of it together, and then after I'm done, if you have questions, you can just post them in the Questions Cafe and we can have a discussion. So first of all, notice the line breaks too. It opens with in just spring. There are a number of ways that you can read that. So why do you think that he's separating just from spring? Well, it could be, hey, it is just spring. It's just spring. Spring is just beginning. You could read it that way. You could read it like injust, almost like injustice. There are probably a few different ways you can read the separation of just and spring. So think about why he does the line breaks the way he does. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, right? He's creating this sense of play by putting together mud and luscious. And usually you don't think of mud as being luscious, but this is from, think of it from a kid's perspective, how they're experiencing spring, maybe jumping into the mud puddles, and it's luscious. And then we get this little lame balloon man whistles far and wee. So when he spaces it out like that, it's almost as if E. E. Cummings is showing us how to read the poem, because we read it the way that it's written with those spaces. It's almost like he wants to slow us down and think about to what effect. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring. So Eddie and Bill, when he puts these together, it's almost like trying to capture that childhood exuberance, almost like a breathless quality, that they're all like coming out as one breath, Eddie and Bill. And then again, we get this idea of spring is repeated. So pay attention to repetition. So we got a lot of images of spring and childhood and play. In the middle of it all is this little lame balloon man, which might seem a little out of place or maybe a little unsettling. We have it again, the queer old balloon man whistles far and wee. and Betty and Isabel come dancing. So we've got almost like you can almost imagine it like at a park where you have these children, they're playing, but off to the side is this old balloon man. And is he innocent just standing there? Is there something almost menacing about it? I think that there is that it is open to interpretation. I'll slow us down when we get to the next mention of the balloon man. Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring. This is like our third mention of spring. So think about what you associate with spring. And the goat-footed balloon man. So now here, introducing the little lame balloon man once again, but now the balloon man is goat-footed. So what might this mean? People read it in all different ways. One way that's very a common reading of it is to look at that goat-footed balloon man like the Greek god Pan, because Pan is a fertility god, and he is represents the season of spring. So it would make sense to have the god Pan, that there is that connection between Pan and spring. And the idea of a fertility god in the middle of this scene, usually you don't think of fertility when it comes to kids. So, in this context. So here it's almost like he represents someone who's adult, someone who maybe there's a sexuality or someone who's fully grown standing there. He's lame, which just means, that maybe he's got a limp, or there's something like there are associations that people can have with the idea of being lame, and I kind of want you to think about it for yourself. But what do you make of this lame balloon man that's kind of woven throughout the story? Whistles far and wee. You can see him as menacing, or you could see the whole thing as just trying to capture what it's like to be a child. And there are always these kind of maybe strange people that inhabit the same world as the children. I sort of don't want to tell you exactly how to read it, but I want to give you some thoughts or some tools for reading it. So when you get to Buffalo Bill's, take a look at where he puts words together, like when he talks about shooting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigeons just like that. Take a look at spacing, at repetition in Buffalo Bill's. And so maybe this might help you. I think he also uses some compound words, the hyphenated words like we have here in that poem. But if you'd like me to go through Buffalo Bill's, I can. But at least that's a way of getting you started in thinking about E.E. Cummings. I'm hoping that's helpful, but if you have questions or if you want to talk about it more, just feel free to post your questions in the Question Cafe. Don't forget that this is our last week, so if you have questions about any of the poems, that's the place to post them. Okay? Thanks a lot, you guys. I hope that helped. Take care.